Welcome to Quiz for NEET, a dedicated platform created to help students like you crack the NEET exam and secure a medical seat in a prestigious college, regardless of financial background. In this video, we will explore Chapter 2, Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants, from the Class 12 Biology NCERT textbook, an essential chapter for NEET. Reproduction is the very foundation of life. In flowering plants, this process is remarkably sophisticated and beautiful. From the tiny pollen grain that carries the male gamete to the egg cell deep within the ovule, every step in this chapter unfolds the miracle of life. Understanding this chapter is not only crucial for your NEET preparation, but also for gaining a deep appreciation of how nature ensures the continuity of species across generations. Here, you will learn about the structure of flowers, the process of pollination, the fascinating mechanism of fertilization, and the unique phenomenon of double fertilization that occurs exclusively in angiosperms. You will also explore topics like seed and fruit formation, embryonic development, and strategies that plants use for ensuring reproduction and survival. These concepts form the core of many questions asked in NEET every year, making this chapter vital for every aspiring doctor. At Quiz for NEET, we believe that quality education should be available to every student, regardless of their financial status. Our goal is to make learning accessible, understandable, and enjoyable, ensuring that every student can achieve their dream of becoming a doctor. So stay focused, listen carefully, and make sure to practice along with us. With that, let's get started and unlock the secrets of sexual reproduction in flowering plants, a chapter that will help you build a strong foundation for NEET biology. Which part of the flower contains the male reproductive organ? A. Petal, B. Stamen, C. Sepal, D. Ovary. Right answer, stamen. Explanation. The stamen is the male reproductive part of a flower. It consists of an anther, which produces pollen grains, and a filament that supports it. 2. The female reproductive part of a flower is called the A. Pistil, B. Anther, C. Filament, D. Sepal. Explanation. The pistil is the female reproductive part of a flower. It consists of the stigma, style, and ovary. 3. The structure that receives pollen grains during pollination is the A. Stigma, C. Anther, D. Petal. B. Stigma. Explanation. The stigma is the topmost part of the pistil that receives pollen grains during pollination. 4. The stalk-like part of the pistil that connects the stigma to the ovary is called the A. Style, B. Filament, C. Sepal, D. Petal. Right answer, A. Style. The style is the elongated part of the pistil that connects the stigma to the ovary, allowing the pollen tube to transport sperm to the egg. 5. The site where ovules develop in a flower is the A. Anther, B. Ovary, C. Filament, D. Petal. Right answer, B. Ovary. Explanation. The ovary contains one or more ovules, which develop into seeds after fertilization. 6. The process of transferring pollen from the anther to the stigma is called A. Fertilization, B. Pollination, C. Germination, D. Sporulation. Right answer. Explanation. Pollination is the process where pollen grains are transferred from the anther to the stigma, starting the process of reproduction. 7. The male gametophyte in angiosperms is represented by the A. Anther, B. Pollen grain, C. Ovule, D. Embryo sac. Right answer, B. Pollen grain. Explanation. The pollen grain is the male gametophyte that contains the sperm cells required for fertilization. 8. The female gametophyte in angiosperms is called the A. Embryo sac, B. Anther, C. Filament, D. Sepal. Right answer, embryo sac. Explanation. The embryo sac develops within the ovule and contains the egg cell and other nuclei required for reproduction. The process by which pollen grains land and adhere to the stigma is called A. Fertilization, B. Pollination, C. Germination, D. Embryogenesis, B. Pollination. Explanation. Pollination is the first step in sexual reproduction, allowing pollen grains to land on the stigma for fertilization to occur. 10. The term for the fusion of the male and female gametes is A. Pollination, B. Fertilization, C. Sporulation, D. Germination. Right answer, B. Fertilization. Explanation. Fertilization occurs when the sperm cell fuses with the egg cell, forming a zygote. 11. The process that leads to the development of the seed from the fertilized ovule is called A. Germination, B. Pollination, C. Embryogenesis, D. Sporulation. Right answer, C. Embryogenesis. Explanation. Embryogenesis is the process by which the zygote develops into an embryo within the seed. 12. The structure that develops into a fruit after fertilization is the A. ovary, B. anther, C. sepal, D. filament. A. ovary. Explanation. The ovary develops into fruit after fertilization, enclosing the seeds within it. 13. The part of the flower that attracts pollinators is called the A. sepals, B. petals, C. anthers, D. filaments. Right answer, B. Explanation. The petals are often colorful and attractive, serving to draw pollinators like insects and birds to the flower. 14. The site where pollen grains germinate on the flower is the A. ovary, B. anther, C. stigma, D. petals. C. stigma. The stigma is the site where pollen grains land and germinate, allowing the pollen tube to grow towards the ovule. 15. The process where pollen tube grows down the style is called A. pollination, B. fertilization, C. germination, D. sporulation. Right answer, C. germination. Explanation. After pollination, the pollen grain germinates and forms a pollen tube that grows down the style towards the ovule. The pollen tube delivers sperm nuclei to the A. anther, B. ovule, C. sepal, D. petals. Right answer, B. ovule. Explanation. The pollen tube delivers sperm nuclei to the ovule, where fertilization occurs. The process where one sperm fertilizes the egg and another sperm fuses with polar nuclei is called A. single fertilization, B. triple fusion, C. double fertilization, D. sporulation. C. double fertilization. Double fertilization is unique to angiosperms, involving one sperm fusing with the egg and another sperm fusing with the polar nuclei. 18. The triploid tissue formed after fertilization is called the A. embryo, B. endosperm, C. zygote, radicle. Right answer, endosperm. Explanation. The endosperm is a triploid tissue that forms after double fertilization and provides nutrition to the developing embryo. The site of meiosis in the flower occurs in the A. anther and ovary, B. petals and sepals, C. seeds and fruit, D. stem and roots. Right answer, A. anther and ovary. Explanation. Meiosis occurs in the anther to produce pollen grains and in the ovary to form egg cells, making sexual reproduction possible. The structure in the flower that becomes the seed after fertilization is the A. anther, B. ovule, C. petal, D. sepal. B. ovule. Explanation. The fertilized ovule develops into a seed containing the embryo and a food supply for germination. Tash. 21. The process of pollen grain formation in the anther is called A. megasporogenesis, B. microsporogenesis, C. fertilization, D. germination, B. microsporogenesis. Explanation. The process of microspore pollen grain formation in the anther is called microsporogenesis. The process of egg cell formation in the ovule is called A. megasporogenesis, B. microsporogenesis, C. germination, D. pollination. Right answer, A. megasporogenesis. Explanation. The egg cell is formed in the ovule through the process of megasporogenesis. 23. The fusion of sperm and egg within the ovule results in the formation of the A. endosperm, B. zygote, C. polar nuclei, D. sepals. Right and zygote. Explanation. The sperm and egg fuse within the ovule, producing a zygote that will develop into the embryo. The structure that protects the flower bud before it opens is the A. sepal, B. petal, C. stigma, D. anther. A. sepal. Explanation. Sepals form the outermost whorl of the flower and protect the bud before it opens. 25. The process by which a seed develops into a new plant is called A. Fertilization, B. Pollination, C. Germination, D. Sporulation. Right answer, C. Germination. Germination is the process where a seed develops into a new plant, initiating a new life cycle. 26. The stalk that supports the anther in a flower is called A. Filament, B. Stigma, C. Sepal, D. Ovary. Right answer, filament. Explanation: the filament is a long, thin structure that holds the anther, making it accessible for pollination. 27. The site where pollen is produced within the flower is called the A. Anther, B. Stigma, sepal, D. Petal. Right answer, anther. Explanation: the anther contains pollen sacs where pollen grains are developed and stored. The term for the fusion of one sperm with the egg is called A. Syngamy, B. Triple fusion, C. Pollination, D. Germination. Explanation: syngamy is the process where one sperm fuses with the egg, resulting in the formation of a zygote. The term for the fusion of one sperm with the polar nuclei is called A. Syngamy, B. Triple fusion, C. Pollination, D. Sporulation. Right answer, B. Triple fusion. Explanation: triple fusion occurs when one sperm fuses with the polar nuclei, forming the endosperm. 30. The unique feature of reproduction in angiosperms is called A. Single fertilization, B. Double fertilization, C. Sporulation, D. Endogamy. Right answer, B. Double fertilization. Explanation: double fertilization is the unique process where one sperm fertilizes the egg and another sperm fuses with the polar nuclei. 31. The end product of triple fusion in angiosperms is the A. Zygote, B. Endosperm, C. Ovule, D. Petal. Right answer, B. Explanation: triple fusion forms the endosperm, a triploid tissue that nourishes the developing embryo. 32. The term for a flower that contains both male and female reproductive structures is called A. Unisexual, B. Bisexual, C. Polygamous, D. Monoecious. Right answer. Explanation: a bisexual flower has both male stamens and female carpal reproductive structures. The process of pollen grain arriving on the stigma is called A. Fertilization, B. Pollination, C. Germination, D. Sporulation. B. Pollination. Explanation: pollination is the first step in the reproductive process, where pollen arrives on the stigma. 34. The pollen grain develops into the pollen tube when it lands on the A. Stigma, B. Anther, C. Sepal, D. Petal. A. Stigma. Explanation: the pollen grain germinates and forms a tube that grows down the style when it lands on the stigma. The structure that develops from the fertilized ovule is the fruit, B. Seed, sepal, D. Petal. Explanation: the fertilized ovule develops into a seed that contains the embryo and stored food for future germination. 36. The fruit develops from the A. Ovule, ovary, C. Anther, D. Sepals. Ovary. The ovary develops into the fruit after fertilization, enclosing the seeds. The term for a flower that contains only male or only female reproductive structures is called A. Unisexual, B. Bisexual, C. Polygamous, D. Complete. A. Unisexual. Explanation: a unisexual flower has only one type of reproductive organ, either male or female. The process where pollen grains travel from one flower to another is called A. Self-pollination, B. Cross-pollination, C. Germination, D. Fertilization. B. Cross-pollination. Explanation: cross-pollination occurs when pollen grains move from the anther of one flower to the stigma of another. 39. The term for pollen grains traveling from the anther to the stigma of the same flower is called A. Cross-pollination, B. Self-pollination, C. Triple fusion, D. Fertilization. Right answer, B. Self-pollination. Self-pollination occurs when pollen from an anther lands on the stigma of the same flower. 40. The process that allows sperm nuclei to travel down the style to the ovule is called A. Fertilization, B. Pollination, C. Pollen tube growth, D. Triple fusion. Right answer, C. Pollen tube growth. Explanation. After pollination, the pollen grain forms a tube that grows down the style, allowing sperm to travel to the ovule. Forwarding the site where fertilization occurs within the flower is called the anther. B. Stigma. C. Ovule. D. Petals. C. Ovule. Explanation. Fertilization occurs within the ovule, where the sperm nuclei unite with the egg and polar nuclei. The process by which a seed develops from a fertilized ovule is called A. Germination, B. Pollination, C. Embryogenesis, D. Sporulation. C. Embryogenesis. Expliogenesis is the process of the seed developing from the fertilized egg within the ovule. The outermost protective layer of the seed is called the A. Endosperm, B. Embryo, seed coat, D. Cotyledon. Right answer, C. Seed coat. Explanation. The seed coat forms from the outer layers of the ovule and protects the seed until germination. 44. The structure within the seed that provides nutrition to the developing embryo is called the A. Endosperm, B. Cotyledon, C. Radicle, D. Plumule. Endosperm. Explanation. The endosperm provides nutrition to the growing embryo within the seed. 45. The embryonic root within the seed is called the A. Plumule, B. Radicle, C. Cotyledon, D. Endosperm. Right answer. B. Radicle. Explanation. The radicle is the embryonic root that emerges first when a seed germinates. 46. The embryonic shoot within the seed is called plumule, B. Radicle, C. Endosperm, D. Cotyledon. The plumule is the embryonic shoot that develops into the stem and leaves. 47. The first leaf or leaves of the embryo are called the A. Radicle, B. Plumule, C. Cotyledons, D. Endosperm. Right answer, C. Cotyledons. Explanation. Cotyledons are the seed leaves that provide nutrients to the young seedling during early growth. The process when a seed absorbs water and starts to grow is called A. Fertilization, B. Pollination, C. Germination, D. Sporulation, C. Germination. Explanation. Germination is the process when a seed absorbs water and starts to grow into a new plant. 49. The part of the flower that becomes the fruit wall is the A. Ovary wall, B. Sepals, C. Petals, D. Anther. A. Ovary wall. Explanation. The ovary wall develops into the fruit wall, enclosing and protecting the seeds. The biological significance of reproduction in flowering plants is that it A. provides nutrition, B. enables continuity of species across generations, C. involves only one parent, D. protects flowers from pests. Right answer. B. enables continuity of species across generations. Explanation. The biological significance of reproduction is to ensure the survival and continuity of species across generations. Thank you for watching this video on Chapter 2, Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. At Quiz for NEET, our mission is to make quality NEET preparation completely free and accessible for every student across India, especially for those who cannot afford expensive coaching. We believe that no student should be left behind due to financial constraints. If you found this video helpful, don't forget, join our free WhatsApp and Telegram communities. You'll get access to study materials, practice questions, important tips, and the latest NEET updates, absolutely free. The links are in the description below. Remember, every doctor starts as a student with a dream, and every step you take brings you closer to making that dream a reality. Stay focused, work hard, and never give up. We're with you every step of the way. Thank you for learning with Quiz for NEET. Let's continue to build a future where every passionate student has a chance to wear the doctor's coat. See you in the next video. Until then, stay motivated and keep studying.